Welcome or welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Ruth for those of you who are joining for the first time, and I am Nigerian who is based in Germany. I also study and I work here in Germany, and I've been in Germany for about a year and 8 months now, and I decided to set up this YouTube channel to basically just show you guys what it's like living in Germany for those of you who are interested in moving to Germany for studies. So just to sort of give you guys tips from my own experience of just moving to Germany, the struggles, the highs, the lows, the ups, the downs, and just everything in between. If that's the kind of content you're interested in and you think you find this video helpful, please do not forget to give this video a thumbs up and also subscribe if you are not yet subscribed. So in today's video, I'm going to basically be celebrating 500 of you guys who have subscribed, and I will be answering all of the questions I get in my comment section. Now, some of these questions I've actually answered them privately in the comment sections, but I just feel like it's important to throw some light or to shed more light publicly on these topics. So before I get started, I would like to put out the disclaimer. First of all, I am not I am not a professional visa lawyer or something like that. I'm a student just like you guys, and I'm still not, very conversant with a lot of the German legalities. So most of the things I would be saying or most of the responses I would be giving to these questions are from my personal experience or from the experience of my family who have also relocated as well for studies here in Germany. So the point of this disclaimer is just to let you guys know that, of course, I am not above mistakes and I'm not above errors. So in case you feel like there are certain things that I might have missed, please kindly put it in the comment section and I would also try to get to it. So without further ado and without so many long talk, let's just get right into the first couple of questions. So if you notice me looking down, I'm actually looking at my tab because I kind of opened my YouTube studio down here, so I'll just read the questions directly and respond to them accordingly. So let's go. The first question is when you're submitting your document on the Uniassist portal, are scanned copies enough? Yes. Scanned copies are enough when submitting your document via Uniassist, except if it has been explicitly stated by the university you're applying to that when making your application via Uniassist, you should send a copy of your transcript directly to the university, or they ask you to send some specific document directly to Uniassist or directly to them during your application stage. In this case, I would advise that you go to your university and you request that your transcript or your document be sent directly to them. So in this instance, you do not need to notarize any document, especially when it's coming directly from your university. They have a way of verifying it between the universities. Now, the second case is if you have a document that previously does not have a stamp from an issuing body, from a recognized issuing body. Like your university, for instance, is a recognized issuing body. So whatever stamp is on your certificate qualifies anywhere in the world, whether scanned copy or whatever. So far that stamp is on it, then it qualifies, and it's been basically it's been approved and it can be confirmed from the issuing body. Now the problem is if you have a document that doesn't have any stamp on it, for instance, maybe a notice of, I don't know, whatever document it is that doesn't have a stamp from an issuing body, and your university is requesting that you get these documents notarized, I would advise that you meet a notary lawyer, that's a lawyer that has been authorized from the public notary to grant this approval. So you would pay the lawyer and then the lawyer would issue those stamps for you before making or sending those documents outside the country. Usually people get documents notarized, especially when they're sending photocopies of those documents, so you get those documents notarized. Aside from these cases I've mentioned where the university has explicitly stated that you send your documents via post and it has to be notarized, in which case you have to go to your university and request that they send those documents directly, I would say all of the other documents you send on Uniassist does not necessarily need to be notarized. So you can get a scanned copy of your passport, a scanned copy of your transcript, for instance, and all other scanned copies that has been requested by Uniassist, just upload them. Chances are that most of the documents you're uploading has already been stamped. So usually, I just remember the case where if you attended a foreign university, maybe you attended a university in China, for instance, and then you need to send your documents, the universities and Uniassist would require that you get those documents officially translated. Now, once your document has been officially translated, it means that you must get it notarized. Now, those are cases where you need to, get those documents notarized. So, like I said, I think that is that about that. If the document has been explicitly requested from a university to be notarized, please notarize those documents, and or you can ask your university to send it directly. The second question is, can I get a proof of English proficiency from my university? Well, so in Germany, for instance, almost all universities that is taught 100% in English would require that you send the IELTs or the TOEFL examinations. Why do they require this? Now, it's a test. Those tests are standardized tests for English speaking proficiency. So wherever it goes in the world, it can easily be confirmed directly from the institutions that issue this certificate, which is why it's most advisable that rather than going to your university and requesting them to give you a proof that all of your studies was done in English, I would advise that you just take the IELTS exams. It lasts for 2 years, so you can use it repeatedly for other applications. So it cost 75,000 naira the last time I applied, and it's pretty simple. So far you've been speaking English, I feel like you should be pretty good, like you should be good to go with those examinations. So I would advise that you just take the IELTS exams and pass the required bandwidth. I think it's about 5.5 or 6, I'm not sure, but you just pass the required bandwidth so that way you know that for all of your applications they are sorted regardless of what test the university requires. The last question is, yes, I did my applications via Uniassist. All of my applications were via Uniassist. I made both partial applications where the university required that I get a VPD, and I also made full applications on Uniassist. Finally, what common mistakes should you avoid when making your submission on Uniassist? So the first thing you should avoid is misnaming your documents, because the people who are on the other end of the spectrum, so the people who will be checking your documents at Uniassist, are usually very they're also human as well. So you can imagine if you misname your documents or you don't name your documents correctly, it will be very difficult for them to check those documents. So misnaming your document is, naming your documents properly is very important. Another thing is you should try to submit all of the required documents from your university. So be very careful when checking what is required versus what is not required. In the case where your university requires that you send certified copies of your document, make sure that those documents are certified, so that way you do not start to, you don't get disappointed in the end. Make sure your documents are named properly, make sure you're submitting the right documents, and then finally make sure you're categorizing those documents properly, because once you open Uniassist, on the portal where you're supposed to submit all your documents, you would see different categories. So make sure you're selecting the right category. If you're going to be uploading your CV, make sure you're selecting CV as the right category, because these people would basically, I feel like they'll just check the categorization, and then that's what they just use to fish out those documents to make the process easier for them. Please note that you're not the only one submitting applications. You have thousands and thousands of international students all over the world making the applications. So as much as possible, try to make things easy for yourself and easy for the people who work at Uniassist. Yeah, so the next question is regarding accommodation and finding accommodation in Germany. So before I talk about this topic, I just want to say that finding accommodation is not the easiest thing in Germany. One of the first things you have to consider is the city you are finding your accommodation in. If you're looking for accommodation in cities like Munich, Frankfurt, Hamburg, Berlin, and other international cities, you would probably find it very difficult to get one. Another another thing you have to consider when finding your accommodation in Germany is what type of accommodation you're looking for. For students, there are primarily 3 types. The first one and the most popular is the Wohnungsgemeinschaft, which is popularly known as WG. So WGs are shared apartments. Basically, you live with other students or you live with other people from different parts of the world. The WG is popular among students because they are usually from private landlords who just decide to rent out their spaces or their extra spaces in their house. So it's possible that you might even end up living with a family like I did. I lived with a family for almost a year before moving to Ingolstadt. So in these cases, houses are usually cheaper. They are usually ranging from 250 euros to 600 euros, again depending on the place where you're living in, it varies, and also depending on the amenities available. So depending on the place where you live and also depending on the amenities available, the prices would either be high or low. So another option is the single room accommodation, and the single room accommodation is usually a lot more expensive because you're not sharing amenities with any other person. So you have your own bedroom, you have your toilet, and you have your bathroom and your kitchen. So it's usually more expensive, and it could range from 400 euros to somewhere between 800 and 900 euros, again depending, or even 1,200 euros actually, depending on where you stay. If you live in Munich, you can be sure that you will be getting it on the higher end of the spectrum. And then if you live in smaller cities like Schweinfurt, for instance, which is also in Bavaria, you can get a single room accommodation. It's available at a much cheaper price, so at the lower end of the spectrum. And then finally is the student apartment or the student dormitories, which are basically government subsidized housing for students. And usually this accommodation are the most comfortable for students, but they are not the easiest to get. So usually there is a waiting period between 2 to 3 semesters depending on the university you're in, but there's usually a long waiting period. And it's advisable that if you're making your applications to those universities, make sure you're applying for a student dorm, while immediately you get your notification for enrollment, also apply to a student dormitory as well, so that when the accommodation are available, you would be sure to get. But do not expect that you would get those accommodation in your first semester. It rarely ever happens. So once you've sorted out what type of accommodation you would like to stay in, the next step is finding those accommodation. I would always recommend 2 platforms, which is the Kleinanzeigen, which is where I found all of my current accommodation, and then also the WG Gesucht app, which is where you find WGs. Application openings for WGs are usually posted on the WG Gesucht app. And then finally, you can also check your university's portal, because some universities have like the accommodation portal open for students to browse through and look through if there are any available spaces. Landlords would meet the university and the university uploads those spaces on there. So they are usually more affordable than the regular Kleinanzeigen. And plus, one advantage is you can be sure that sometimes you would rarely ever get incidences where you get scammed. So once you sorted this out, the advice for using these apps, I would say one of the downsides of the Kleinanzeigen app is that it is in German, and most landlords post their openings in German. Now this makes it way difficult for people who are international. So as an international student, you obviously do not yet understand the language. So I would say you should have Google Translate open side by side with this app, so that way you just copy and paste from the app directly on Google Translate, and then so you understand what the landlord is trying to say. If the poster made the ad in German, I would say that you should respond to the ad also in German, because most people here in Germany do not really understand English. So German is the first language. It's better in order to get more responses, I would say you should make your application in German as well. Your application would usually consist of your name, where you're from, what you're currently doing in Germany, if you have a job, if you have family here, if you are the type of person that enjoys living in a communal space. I would say if you're applying to a VG, you should include, oh, I enjoy living with other people and I don't have a problem cleaning up routinely, and just things like that makes your application a lot more friendly. So you'd have to include all of this information, and you basically tell it in a more narrative form, not like you are in a crime interview or something. No, you just say it in a narrative form, like, hi, my name is Ruth and I am 26 years old, I'm female, I just moved to Germany, I'm Nigerian, I work in and I also enjoy living in a communal space. I enjoy talking with people. My goal is to maybe learn the German language, so it's really nice to live with other people, and just things like that make you a much more attractive candidate, because bear in mind that you're actually going to be living with other people, so that makes it, even more, the landlords are a lot more picky because they don't really want issues, right? So once you've done all of those things, you send in your application, and if possible, attach a picture of yourself if you're comfortable doing that, just to make your own application stand out. Because trust me, if you're applying for a place, you can be sure that 10 other people or 20 other people are also applying for the same space, especially in larger cities. So you just have to try to make your application stand out as much as possible. Whew. And then finally, please try not to get scammed. Anybody who asks you to send money before you've seen the place, do not send money when you've not seen your accommodation, you've not met the landlord. In most cases, those scenario, it's probably a scam. So just make sure that you are wise when making your applications, because trust me, there are lots of scammers out there, so just be very careful. I really hope that answers your question. Please, if you have any more questions, put it down in the comment section, and again, I will try to get to it. For all of those people who said they enjoy watching my videos, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and I really cannot believe that we actually are at this number. I'm surprised and stunned, to be honest. But yeah, so yeah, someone asked if I can share the names of the 2 books on one of my posts that I made recently, and I just decided that, okay, you know what, one of my biggest hobbies is to read. I really enjoy reading, and recently I've taken back reading as a hobby, because at some point I kind of forgot about reading because of, adulting is really hard, and when you think about reading, you just think, all that time I can use it to do something else, right? But I decided to take up reading again, because really it opens up my mind to a lot of things. So I'm just going to share the books I'm currently reading. The first one is A Man of the People by Chinua Achebe. This is my current read, A Man of the People. I'm currently in chapter 2, page 8. I just started reading this one. It's my book for the week, and not really the week because now it's Friday. School has resumed, so yeah, busy. Another book I really enjoyed reading is The Thing Around Your Neck by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. Now, I love this book because it's a collection of short stories, but one thing I hate about this book is it just leaves you wanting more. So when you read one short story and then you're just like, why isn't it not a full book? Because it's so interesting. Chimamanda Adichie is such a good author. So once I'm done reading A Man of the People, I would read The Antelope of the Savannah, because I heard that this is a sequel to A Man of the People. So I've not started reading this yet, but I'll get to it. One other book, the book that was actually on my thumbnail that someone asked about, is Girl in Pieces. Girl in Pieces is a book by Caitlin Glasgow, and it's just talking about, it's a coming of age story, so it's just talking about this lady and just the hardship she has had in her life, and how she's able to, at the end of the day, she's able to overcome certain things. But yeah, just a book about depression and family and friendship and just a lot of things. It's a heavy book to read. It made me sad and then it made me happy. There were just a lot of things. So yeah, Girl in Pieces, I would recommend to read this book. Now, my favorite book I've read so far is I Was Raised to Be Mame, Now I Want to Be Me. This is a book by Jessica George, and I recommend this book. If you can't get this, please get it. It's very interesting, and it's basically about this lady. Her name is Maddie, Maddie Wright is a character who is based in London, but she is Ghanaian. So it's very relatable, especially if you are the first daughter like myself. And there's just, it's all about responsibility, her relationship with her family, her relationship with herself, therapy, and just a lot of things. It's really, really a nice book. And the best part about this book for me is you kind of get to see what Maddie thinks, basically, just from her text. It's easy to now relate to the characters from her text, from her searches on Google. Like, everything is just very well written. I love this book. If you can, then please read it. And then the final books that I've read, or I'm planning on reading, I read Lineage of Grace by Francine Rivers. I've read Lineage of Grace a long time ago. I'm going to reread this. And then finally, The Masterpiece. I want to give this out to a friend for her birthday. So yeah, The Masterpiece by Francine Rivers, also a very, very interesting book. Read it a long time ago, so it's very, very interesting. And yeah, that's basically the books I'm currently reading. Another question is, what store is best to shop from and how is it to live there? Is it comfortable? Some people say it's really hard, and people there are not so nice. Okay, so living in Germany, I've not had a bad experience so far. Everybody I've met has been nice. I think one good way to move around in the world is to have a positive mindset. I always believe that once you move about with positivity, you kind of attract positive people to yourself, and you tend to stay away from negativity, and you tend to stay away from that kind of energy. So I would say so far I've not had a bad experience in Germany. I would recommend it to international students. Maybe it could be because I am the kind of person who also stays on my own most times. I don't really care so much if you're being friendly or you're being not so friendly to me, because are you the one feeding me? So that aside, I would say it's friendly, or at least from my perspective, it's been friendly enough so far. The best places to shop at for students would be discount stores. So stores like Lidl, Aldi, Netto, those stores are discount stores, and I would say as a student you probably want to shop in those stores because you will get things at very affordable prices and also very good quality. If you're a student, I would suggest that you avoid stores like, I think I remember, but I'll just put it down in the description. Those stores are kind of high end, and most times you probably get things there, but they are quite expensive. Also, as a student, if you're looking for furniture or you're looking for decor pieces, I would suggest that you shop at Action. You shop at Action Store. The Action stores have very cheap and very affordable furniture pieces, and they are also very good. You could also shop on Amazon as well, so you shop according to your budget. But yeah, those stores I've recommended: Lidl, Netto, and Aldi. You'd find them almost everywhere in Europe. I say they are the best to shop. If you're looking for makeup products or skincare products, you probably want to shop at DM. DM is very good, carries really good skincare products, but not very much makeup for Black people. Unfortunately, if you're Black, you bring your makeup from home, or you shop somewhere else, shop online. But DM would not carry makeup for Black people. I've not seen anything that actually matches my complexion, and I'm not even, I'm not like really dark. I'm pretty fair. I'm light skinned, so it's weird. Someone said, I'm African and I'm applying to a master's at a public university. What city is affordable for students in terms of accommodation? So I want to answer this question from a different direction. If you're coming to Germany, I would advise personally that you probably want to search for opportunities as opposed to cost, because there are certain cities that are cheap. For instance, there are certain towns that are actually cheap and affordable because they are they are villages, basically German villages, but they have the university there, right? So they are pretty affordable. But then, would you get the right opportunity as an international student that does not understand German? So I would advise that instead of you can cities, just to answer the question straight, right? I can't really say, but look for smaller cities within Germany, those smaller towns, those smaller locations, Lippstadt, Schweinfurt, some of those other smaller cities, they are usually more affordable. So if you're looking for affordability, look for smaller cities. But those smaller cities will not have the right opportunities for people who do not understand German. So I would say that you should probably be, even though the bigger cities are more expensive to live in, you probably want to look for locations that are close to big cities, at least 1 hour away from the big or major cities. This is because in major cities like Berlin, Hamburg, Munich, you find opportunities for people who do not understand the German language. So you find English speaking opportunities, and then there are a lot of other opportunities for students to get menial jobs and other things, rather than living in a small town where you have to travel for 3 hours to find an actual job to do, you know. So I have some friends who had to relocate basically to Munich in order to find something tangible to do, because in smaller cities you rarely would find those opportunities available. Even though big cities are more expensive, I would say find opportunities rather than the cost, because if you live in Munich, for instance, minimum wage is about 13 euros. That means that you can actually afford to pay your way in a city like Munich. Even though it's more expensive, you get more opportunities, you get more networking opportunities to meet people as well. So yeah, I would say definitely look out for universities that are in big cities, but then an option is to find accommodation around the cities, because in Germany the transportation network is pretty good. Well, until recently, but the transportation network has been pretty good so far. So I would say that you can find accommodation in neighboring towns, which would be cheaper than finding accommodation in the city center. But just make sure that your university is in a big city, and then you can find accommodation around neighboring towns, just smaller towns around, that would be much cheaper than you have to commute to school. What's the name of your school in Germany, and how did you move from Munich to your current city? So the name of my university is the Technical Hochschule Ingolstadt, and I was previously in Munich. I was at TUM, so I was studying the Masters in Management program at TUM, but then I decided that okay, I needed something different, so I changed last year to this new university. How did I move? So I made my application to the new university. I got my admission. I got admitted. Then I enrolled, and then in the process of enrolling, I had to exmatriculate from TUM, and then I moved, got an accommodation here, and I registered at the city registration office in Ingolstadt, and that's how I officially moved. Yeah, so if you are not satisfied with your program, you can change your program once before you get to your third semester, so it's not too complicated. And moving from one city to another in Germany for studies, it's basically like all you need to do is register in a new city, you know. So especially when you're doing this change in your second semester, I don't know if it's more complicated if you're moving to a different state, because I moved from Munich to Ingolstadt is in Bavaria, so it's in one state. So it might be a lot more complicated if you're moving to a different state, you get. So yeah, basically get admitted, do your enrollment, and then move. Find accommodation here, so that way you can register at the city registration office, and that's it. You're in another city. Someone asked how much did I spend in total for the entire relocation process. The honest to God truth is I cannot remember, but I'm going to try to break it down. So I've made a list here. So the first thing I spent, I would try to categorize it. So Uniassist, I made 3 applications. The first application was 75 euros, and then the remaining 2 applications was 25 euros each, I believe, and I paid a total of 125 euros for my applications to Uniassist. block account, as at the time I was making my application, was 10,332 euros. So they would give you 856 euros per month. However, now block account is 11,208 euros, so that's 934 euros per month. You should take that into consideration, those big change. Then I also wrote the IELTs exams. I paid 75,000 naira for my exams, and then I paid 40,000 naira for the tutorial to write the exam. So I attended an exam class because I was really busy and couldn't study. So I paid a total of 115,000 naira. Then I collected my transcript from my university and also applied for it to be sent to my university here in Germany, and I paid 50,000 naira approximately for that, probably more. Then my visa application, traveling to Lagos, and accommodation, feeding, and all of those things probably cost me over 200,000 naira. And then travel costs, I cannot remember how much I spent on traveling. And then to get my documents notarized, I think I spent almost 20,000 naira. I'm not sure. So just do the maths. The bulk of the money you would spend would most likely be on your block account, which is 11,208 euros presently. And then, of course, transportation now is very expensive if you are trying to relocate, so that's another cost. You should probably budget 1 million naira or something for your plane ticket and buying all of the things that you would need as a student and all of that. So yeah, please do the math, because there are certain things I mentioned in euros, and then there are certain things that were, of course, mentioned in naira. So yeah, so if for those of you who are looking for universities to apply to, I would advise that you check out dad.de. I will leave the full link to dad under this video, because yeah, it's easy to search on dad, and you can be sure that all of the universities you get on dad are accredited universities. Someone asked if I can give important information for those who want to move to Germany, especially to cities like Munich, about housing, jobs, people relationship, church, etc. Let me try. Housing is expensive. I've said a lot about housing in this video, so I might not go through that again. Getting a job in Munich is also relatively it's hard though. But there are opportunities for people who speak only English, I would say, in cities like Munich. So getting a job as an international student is probably easier in Munich than it is in some other parts of Germany. So yeah, big cities like Munich, Hamburg, Frankfurt, Berlin, yeah, you'd probably find student jobs easier than if you're in smaller towns. People relationships, again, depends on how much you're willing to put yourself out there in communicating with people at your university, joining clubs. Yes, if you are a student, I would say you probably want to join clubs or societies in the university. That would help you with meeting new people and meeting people also from maybe Nigeria who are also looking to meet people as well. Joining a church and a fellowship is not just only important for your faith, but it's also really important for, you know, finding a community of people that believe in the same thing you believe in. When I moved to Munich, the first thing I did was to find a church. I've always been like that. If I'm in a new place, I have to find a church where I can attend. It's very difficult for me here in Ingolstadt now because all the churches majorly speak German. And as much as I would love to learn the German language, I don't think I can learn it when it's just so complicated. I go to church because I want to feel, you know, like a part of a community and stuff. But when you're speaking German, I don't understand what you're saying. So it just makes it a lot more difficult for me, because then I'm not edified in any way after service. So yeah, I would say find a church. Finding a church in Munich is pretty easier than most places. You find churches like that speak English. Some examples of those churches are IBCM, which was my church in Munich, which means International Baptist Church Munich, and then RCCG Munich is my current fellowship in Munich, and it's all, yeah. So those are places you can probably find people, meet people who are friendly and who are also in the same community. So clubs, not nightclubs. I mean clubs like school clubs. You can also meet people as a student in class. You can meet people by going to certain events. You know, there are lots of carnivals and events that happen, especially during the summer period in Germany. Also put yourself out there by going to places like the English Garden, for instance. It's very nice in the summer, very beautiful, and a lot of people are outside. So just put yourself out there. Yeah, I think you would be able to make friends. I made most of the people I talk to right now, some of them I met them on the Nigerian. There was this group I joined when I was still in Nigeria for students who are looking to come to Germany, and a couple of the people I met there are still friends. We're still friends now because we attended the same university at some point. So yeah, put yourself out there. Best way to make friends and meet people if you're interested in that kind of thing. Can I make a video about what to bring to Germany when you're coming to study? I would say bring your favorite things. Bring food, especially. Bring Nigerian food, because in the first couple of months you're living in Germany, you're still trying to settle in, probably don't know a lot of places, you don't know the African store, and even if you do know the African store, probably too expensive. So I would say you should bring your egusi, bring your okra, dried okra, bring your pepper if you like pepper, if you like spicy food, bring pepper, bring opehe, bring all of the things that are your favorite things, just bring them. And then for clothes, I would say you should, if you're coming in the summer, you probably want to pack a lot warmer, but also still have one jacket, one puffer jacket. Just one is fine. The reason why I said just one is fine is because the puffer jackets they make in Nigeria are not actually puffer jackets. Like, you come to Germany with those jackets and it feels like you're not even wearing anything. So it's better if you want to get high quality jackets for their weather use, but better you buy it in the country. So probably leave your 10 jackets back in Nigeria because it's just unnecessary weight, and maybe buy one jacket, one puffer jacket, and then you can buy maybe one or two other lightweight jackets if you're coming around this period into summer. So come with those, but majorly pack food. Eventually you would get to that stage where the food would not be necessary. You can always walk to the African store, but for your first couple of months and trying to settle in, make sure you bring your favorite food. So it's not just you coming from one extreme, like you're just coming from Nigeria and then you're now trying to get used to the food and stuff. You know, just pack your food. Also, don't bring things like rice. You can find those things in the provision store. Don't bring things like Maggi. You can find Maggi substitutes in the provision store, like the local stores here. So yeah. I think I made a vlog, and in that vlog I kind of explained to you guys the rice I use, and I use booze as a substitute to the seasoning cubes. So rather than seasoning cubes, they are usually in bottles, like liquid spices. Yeah, someone said that, yay, we're growing. He joined. This is I don't know if it's a he or a she, but the person joined when I was still at 23 subscribers, and yeah, I can't believe it now. You guys, I can't believe it, we're like 500. Oh, that's sick. That's amazing. Yeah. So if you would like to reach out to me in private, then you can add me on my Instagram. I will put the link to the handle down in the description, and then you can also send me an email. I will try to reach you as quickly as I can. Someone asked, up to what level of German language did I have to learn in order to find a job? And also, do I communicate in German at work? I do not communicate in German at work. The official language for my job is English. I also had A1 German then before I got my job here in Germany, and the first job I had, which was working as a design support at a consultancy firm, I had no German at all. So yeah, I don't know what to tell you. It's just been God, and it's been, you know, amazing how God's grace has seen me through to this point. And yeah, that's just it. I'm still learning the German language, and currently I'm in A2, so I'm entering A2 this semester. So yeah, German is nicht so gut. Someone asked what is IBCM. IBCM is International Baptist Church Munich, and that was the first church I attended when I moved to Germany. The person also asked that, is it possible for her to take the free language course in Germany without being a student? No, being a student is, if you want to take the free language course offered by the university, then you have to be an enrolled student at the university. The language courses are usually just on the side. They're not your main program or your main course. So they're usually just electives, individual preference. If you would like to take it, they're not compulsory courses. So yes, you have to be enrolled, and almost all universities in Germany have the language center, so you could just search language centrum and of the particular university you would like to apply to, and then you can see a list of the language courses that they are offering. So yes, I think that's it for this video. I'm sorry I couldn't get to all the questions like I wanted to. If you have any further questions, please leave it down in the comment section and I would reach out to you individually, or I would make another video like this, maybe a part 2 of this video if you guys would like to see it. And yeah, that's it. So thank you so much for watching. Please do not forget to give this video a thumbs up if you end up enjoying it, and also subscribe to me if you're not yet subscribed. Again, thank you so much to 500 of you guys who have taken the time out to subscribe to us, to the channel. I'm really happy, and I'm really grateful that my little channel is reaching people who actually need it. And yeah, so without talking too much, I guess I would see you in my next one. Bye guys.